Octagon News.
Sales. What about GSP's? Joe Rogan went out and said that the ticket sales for GSP and Bisping were not selling as well as expected.
I've actually heard that. I've actually heard that myself too. I heard that it was going a little bit slower than before. Now, I think two things happen here. One, George has been away for a while, and I believe a lot of people will buy tickets the week of the fight. So I believe it'll pick up. But last year in New York with Conor fighting, you could have prices that match the market, right? So you can just have the most expensive prices because it's New York City, it's Conor McGregor, and people are going to pay.
A short trip
if
for
the
that,
prices are the same for Bisping versus GSP, I'm not sure people are paying that as they would for McGregor fight.
Well, it's weird because, well, not weird, but McGregor has the, for the Irish fans, that was the shortest trip they could go see him fight in a big city that, and also already has a big Irish population. GSP was always like Canada would turn out for him, but like,
yes,
I wonder if after 3 years off, is Canada less excited? Are they going to all come in at the last minute?
It's been 4 years. He fought in 2013.
Shit.
But I don't believe that. I believe it's going to sell. I just believe that more people are going to buy in the last week. Also because of injuries, man. A lot of times guys are getting hurt right before these cards
That's true. You don't
happen.
You don't pay the big
and
prices.
so people, you hold on to your money until you know everything's happening. And not only the McGregor factor, but also last year was the first time New York had ever hosted a UFC. That was like the biggest fight card that the UFC had put on for a while, So it was a big one. All things came together for that first Madison Square Garden fight to be an early sellout. I believe this one will sell out. I just think that you're going to see a lot of ticket sales during the middle and the end of next week.
Do you think along with that, there was pictures of GSP's physique, and obviously he was always just so ripped and looked like a superhero. Now he kind of looks, he's getting older, and he's still super jacked and ripped, but he's not like GSP ripped. Do you think that'll happen during his cut? Is he just getting older?
Well, he's bigger. You got to think he's fighting 15 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true.
Putting on all that muscle, you're probably not going to look as lean, So a lot of people will point to USADA and all that stuff, but I don't believe that. I believe that the fact is he's fighting up a weight division, and he had to put on.
I guess he doesn't.
They say George weighs 200 pounds right now.
Yeah, so he just doesn't.
He's never weighed that.
Get like that. What about So your Kane was in the news today for going off a little bit. What
Well, he just spoke the truth. Like people are upset because of what happened with the Jones fight, and Kane's just a guy that's going to speak his mind.
Yeah.
So I love that he stood up for me, and he has my back. He's one of my best friends in the world, and felt pissed off that stuff came out after that. Look, man, guys just want to fight, man.
Yeah.
Guys just want to fight and want to fight fair. Let's just go compete. That's what we love to do. We love to compete. Let's just go compete. May the best man win.
What's more troublesome to some? So obviously, in your scenario, you've been in the fight, been directly affected by it. But for an average fighter who hasn't or doesn't know that he's been personally affected by it, is steroids more of an issue where they're more worried about their opponent having an unfair advantage, or they're more worried about being labeled a cheat themselves when they aren't, because everyone just assumes everyone's on steroids because you get a high-profile one? Do guys talk about any of that shit, or am I just overthinking everything?
We don't really think about that, because you got to remember, I fought at a time, 2009, 10, 11, where there was no USADA and all that other stuff. So I'm sure there were a lot of guys I fought during my career that were doing things illegally. So I never really thought about it in those terms, but we don't really talk about steroids. Like we don't.
So it's not as big.
We don't talk about that stuff, man. Like we just want to go compete, right? We go to the gym, we try to get better, then we go fight. It's like that's all we do.
Yeah.
What about that Till Cowboy fight last week? And I don't mean to change the subject, but
No, I think the subject was done.
Till Cowboy.
That was Till looked impressive.
He's so big.
Oh, yeah. I mean, seems exciting. He seems like kind of the style that they need, and they always like to energize different fan bases. It's almost like he can take over from Bisping for the English crowd.
He's big, he's fast, he's strong. You saw early in that fight that he did not feel like Cowboy had anything for him, right? It just seemed from the very jump like he was just so confident that he was just walking Donald down.
It's weird, like when Dethrone started, right? And we were trying to find guys that hadn't gotten a ton of exposure, but that were really good. So you go talk to the managers and coaches and say, hey, who does everyone in the gym know is going to be really good? It's almost like I felt like maybe it must have been one of those scenarios where everyone on the outside is like kind of with Cowboy, like who the hell is Darren Till? But I figured within the community, there's got to be guys like that where everyone's like, yeah, no, because it's like they go take out these big names and it feels like a mismatch to everyone from the outside. But I remember I just remember it's always weird how there's like this group of people that their opinion is more valuable, that all know certain things. I'm not saying everyone in the know thought, oh, this guy's gonna finish him that quickly. But I always think it's an interesting sport where everyone gets so much attention, but there's still guys that can feel like they came out of nowhere. Which is really why we should be betting on fights more often, right, Dennis?
Yeah,
we should be like,
sure.
yeah.
Isn't it crazy though? Like, obviously at a different level, but like when I remember you were sponsoring Kane when he went to the Lesnar fight, and people were actually thinking that Brock was going to beat Kane, but you knew from being around the gym and the people in there going, this guy really has no chance to beat Kane, right? It's like that's same
the perfect
situation.
example. Like you're sitting there, there's everyone on the outside going, Brock Lesnar is going to kick his ass, and then you can't find anyone who fights or has been around the gym that thinks there's any chance Kane's going to lose. And it's like such a weird contradiction of like, and you start second guessing it yourself going, is everyone fucking crazy? Because like this doesn't, it's weird. It's weird on such like social media age and like such a visible sport and all that, but you can still get
varying opinions.
Yeah.
I just saw that fight actually 2 days ago. I rewatched
Where?
it. Just on
Kane Lesnar?
Yeah, I just watched it because it was one of my favorite ones.
I remember I had seats, but I was getting so excited that I walked up the little aisle closer, and I was right in the middle of a Jack's Link section, and I just had like like everyone, like there was like 20 people around me, all like Jack's Links guys wearing the Lesnar t-shirts, and I was like, what the fuck? And then it was awesome. But but it's actually the weird thing too, is every time you think like, oh man, where's the next generation going to come from? They're always coming. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it comes in different weight classes. Sometimes it's this, but there's always going to be a next generation.
Of course, man. And they're just getting better and better and better, right? So Darren Till shows an ability to control range with his height and his length that most guys didn't do early, right? When you look at some of the younger guys now, Cody Garbrandt doing what he did to Dominic Cruz, that was insane. It's like you see these guys and it's like, man, where did this dude come from? Like, where did he come from? I knew he would be good, but he's better than I ever could have imagined, So
yeah,
you watch him and it's just development across the board. The women, they're getting so much better than they were initially.
Yeah.
Joanna Jacek is just a killer. She's a killer, and she's fighting Rose Namajunas next week, and Rose is just as good. It's just insane how much this sport is evolving, and as much as we put these people up on the pedestal, somebody else is coming too.
Yeah.
There is a kid right now working that when that kid's ready, we're all going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and then if you get the right talent combined with the right personality, then it's like lightning in a bottle.
It's lightning in a bottle.
I saw Instagram.
That don't happen often, though.
No, I saw an Instagram post today. It was I don't know if it was by her or someone else, but it was Joanna, like sitting in the back of a car, just like shoveling spinach in her mouth. Like she had this big bowl of spinach, and it was like, this is how this is how champions are made, or this is what it takes to be a champion. And I was sitting there, I was eating a giant fucking quesadilla while I was browsing this, and I was like,